bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Brewers Outlet, Sunbury Motor Company, and Purdy Insurance. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
This half hour being brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury, Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, best in new inventory. Great pre-owned inventory with the Sunbury Motors guarantee. Terrific service department, whether it's quick lane inspections, routine, difficult, they handle it all. At Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury, Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Very pleased to be joined by my great friend and my broadcast partner for the last 26 seasons on Penn State football, Jack Ham. Partner, welcome back. Great to have you with us.
Good to be with you, Steve. That's quite an introduction.
Oh no, it's
getting my car inspected in Sunbury.
I mean, it's perfect. I mean, you're all set to go. In fact, we may be able to get you a discount. Let's start with the defensive play, and I want to talk about the linebackers and going with two linebackers, Rojas and Campbell. What have you thought about watching that combination play to this point?
Well, I think that going in, I think we felt Rojas, who's a very, very athletic, who ran a sub 4.4 40-yard dash. So we thought that he could go sideline to sideline. I think I'm very surprised at how well Campbell has really meshed into our defense, and it seems like he's been there for 2 or 3 years in our defense, and very comfortable. He's just a smart football player to take very good angles when he's making plays in traffic. He knows when to disengage with an offensive lineman or a back trying to block him. He's got good vision as well. And I think he has been a surprise for me in the sense of how well he has played.
So the corner play, Oregon has terrific receivers, Benson, Moore, Bryant, terrific receivers. When you look at Penn State's corner play and what they're capable of, what do you think about that matchup with Oregon's receivers?
I think, Steve, this will probably be the key for the football game, who's going to win or lose the game on Saturday, because our secondary is outstanding in man-to-man coverage. And you look at all the corners who played in preseason camp in the first 3 games. They are very aggressive, bump and run, man-to-man. They challenge wide receivers. The only thing in those first 3 games, Steve, we probably haven't been challenged enough in the secondary with really good wide receivers. All of a sudden, after those 3 games, we're going to hit Oregon, and you're right. Wide outs, they've got a tight end. Their backs out of the backfield can catch the football as well. And this will be the challenge right now. The best part of our defense is our secondary, and those wide receivers for Oregon are outstanding, and that'll be a key matchup.
What about the fact that Jim does mix up some coverages? It's not always man, but he mixes up some coverages. How difficult can he be to read sometimes?
Very much so. I think that's the key to why he's such an outstanding defensive coordinator. The fact of we can have people disguise coverages, and this is what they worked on. This is why those first 3 games of the season, the communication, giving a bad pre-read to a quarterback, all those little things you do that really help you when you get into the Big Ten schedule. And those are the things that I think we worked on. We had some communication issues in the first 3 games. We kind of, I think, ironed those things out going into the Oregon game. So I'm looking forward to how well our defense and how well we disguise coverages against a veteran offense for Oregon.
We saw last year what a challenge it was for every team to face a quality tight end like Tyler Warren. What kind of challenges does Kenyon Sadiq bring as the Oregon tight end?
Well, he's about as good, first of all, about as good a tight end as there is in the country right now. Sadiq is a guy, and he doesn't take plays off and just be a glorified wide receiver at the tight end position. He will block. He's outstanding at the point of attack when they're running the football. He's about 250 pounds. He can get deep down the middle of the field. I mean, no question they've got outstanding wideouts. But when you have a tight end like this, like we had last year with Warren, he can do so many different things, and he can get deep down in the middle of the field. You play a cover 2 zone, he can split that inside the hash marks as well and get deep and really challenge that 2-deep zone. So he's a guy that I think we're going to have to really be concerned about. No question the wide receivers, but the key to their passing game offensively is their tight end.
All right, so when Dante Moore was at UCLA, the issue was, and he was a young quarterback at the time, and it happened to be turnovers. Well, he hasn't done that with Oregon. He's played really well. But when you've watched the video, how often has he really had pressure on him in the pocket?
Oh, none at all, Steve. I mean, just in the first 3 games, they could do exactly what they wanted to do. You never had a second or third down and long situation where they had to convert to keep a drive alive. Again, it was too easy for Oregon as well in those first 4 games for them.
Right.
And so coming to the game, Penn State should put pressure. Our front four has been outstanding. So if we get pressure with 4 people, that'll be advantage Penn State. Not seeing any of the pressure, not being involved in any kind of crowd noise as well, is all those kind of things. All of a sudden, is going to be a factor against that Oregon offense. The crowd noise, and I always say that football is that one sport where that crowd is truly a factor, and I think that whiteout crowd Saturday night will obviously be very loud and be a concern for the cadence for Oregon.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because that's one thing. When you and I did the Ohio State game last year, and I know it was a noon game and not a night game, but it was still extremely loud there. What really impressed me about Ohio State, Jack, is not one time did Ohio State flinch. Not one time. And I was so impressed by that.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have thought there would have been a false start. Something, especially on the tackles who are probably the furthest away from the quarterback when he's trying to call out signals, that there would have been something like that. Give credit to Ohio State. They came in and they have played in a lot of venues where there have been loud, so I think they were accustomed to it. And you're right, I was surprised how well they did on the offensive side of the ball, not having any kind of mistakes or penalties. We'll see what happens here with Oregon. Got some young people on the offense, especially at wide receiver, and we'll see how they react to this crowd noise. But it's going to be electric at Beaver Stadium, and this is one guy over here you're talking to is looking forward to it. This one game that everybody has pointed, the fans have pointed, I think, to this game. And you talk about a benchmark for our season right now. This is it, and it's an advantage Penn State to have that game at home.
Well, I mean, look, you played in the biggest games. There'll be some people like, it's like every other game. In reality, Jack, it's not like every other game. Okay, I mean, and you know it as a player, don't you?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you can say those words, and you say you try to keep your calm, but you just got to make sure on both offense, on defense, you're not overhyped for something like a game like this. Sometimes. And then you make a mistake, a mental mistake in the secondary or at the linebacker position. Those are the things you got to make sure that you're honed in. It's great to be pumped up for a football game and motivated, but you got to make sure you keep your calm as well out there, especially on that defensive side of the ball, because communication is it's going to be very loud for our defense when the crowd noise is there for their offense. So we got to make sure our communication is down and making sure all the hand signals we have, because it's going to be so loud that our defense is going to have to react to that crowd noise as well.
Detroit played at Baltimore on Monday night, and they ended up sacking Lamar Jackson 7 times, but they also ran for 224 yards between Gibbs and Montgomery. So let's get to the running game for Penn State. Last year in the Big Ten championship game, they ran the ball well against Oregon. How important is that going to be to take pressure off Drew Allard that they have a running game?
Oh, the running game, I don't care what level you play. Look at last year in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, they win the Super Bowl because they controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. I mean, you run the football, that will open up everything for you. We were able to get 292 yards. We had our running backs run the football. We had our quarterback, Drew Allard, run as well. And you can control that. As the game went on, I think we were getting to be more and more control of that football game. The start is where we were, I think, a little bit overwhelmed by the speed of Oregon initially, and we never could get that into that tempo initially. But as the game wore on, and as we ended up controlling the offensive line of scrimmage, I think we were starting to take control. It was only the interception at the end of the game, really, that cost us the football game.
Yeah, and that brings us to Katron Allen. Katron Allen got down to 217. Now he's 219. He had an off season where he was able to participate in everything. What difference have you seen in him, Jack?
Well, I mean, the evidence is out there, Steve. I mean, he would not have had that 67-yard run that he had for a touchdown. He is. We always talk about Singleton being explosive. Well, Allen is there as well because he has been healthy all throughout preseason camp, and he was. You talked to James, and he's the one guy that he's dropped about 8 or 9 pounds. He's quicker. He's even stronger by being in the weight room. And I think he gets it. He knows what he has to do to get better, and he has done that each and every year. And he is so much quicker that a couple of times in practice, I mistook Allen for Singleton, and he has that kind of quickness now, that kind of burst. And like I said, he would not have gone 67 yards without doing the hard work in preseason camp, spring ball, all the way down the line, and losing about 8 or 9 pounds.
So Drew Aller to the stage. A, what have you thought? And B, how important is it, look, that you get into big games? You need everybody to play well, but how important is it that your best players also play well?
Oh, that is the key. I mean, you're right. In games like this, when they're going to be evenly matched, there's talent on both sides of the football. I mean, you need your big-time players, your standout. I mean, Drew Aller is going to have his best game. And on the defensive side of the ball, deny Dennis Sutton, a guy who's made all kind of plays in the first 3 games. He is going to have to live in the backfield of Oregon for Penn State to be successful. You need those type of players. And I think also in a game like this, now is when we need those wideouts to really step up because we brought in 3 guys, Hudson, Pena, and Ross. And all 3 of those guys, I think they kind of worked them in the first 3 games to get comfortable with Drew. We're going to need our wide receivers going to have to make big plays in this game.
How important can, for example, a Singleton be in this pass game?
Oh, without Singleton will be a big factor in this because you end up trying to go man up downfield or sometimes double one of our wide receivers, and then you have Singleton out of the backfield who's he runs under 4.4 as well. So we've got a running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield and not just a dump off for 4 or 5 yards, but he can take it 50 or 60 yards downfield. He has that type of ability. He has worked on his hands. Another guy who catching the ball out of the backfield, not just swing routes, but also routes downfield against linebackers or safeties at times on nickel. And he's been able to do that as well. He's got that kind of capability. Somewhere along the line, along with the wide receivers, somebody else is going to have to make big plays on the offensive side of the ball, and our running backs in the passing game could be a key.
Yeah, and then there's that offensive line, not only protecting Aller, but again, you talked about the 292 they ran for against Oregon last year. I mean, so often you get into these games, and it's the guys up front, whether it is, setting up linebackers to make tackles or setting up quarterbacks and running backs to make plays.
Oh, yeah, this offensive line. I know it's not the sexy position on a football team, but this is where you win football games. You those guys up front. And like I said, they were able to do it last year against the quality defensive line for Oregon. Now, running the football effectively, ball control, keeping the ball away from their offense as well, converting on 3rd downs, converting on 4th down situations where you keep a drive alive and you're not punting the football back to Oregon. We've got to limit the possessions that Oregon offensively has against us on Saturday, and we can do that by just 3rd down conversions, 4th down conversions.
How important is the practice field, not just to practice, but also to be like a sanctuary away from the outside noise?
I think for all the guys, especially in the last 2 weeks, preparing for this game, I think once they get into the locker room or onto the football field, practice field, you're right. That is where they can put out all the noise. I think they are a veteran team, so I think they're pretty grounded. There's going to be times when they're going to make a play. We're going to have to adjust to that. It's not all going to be smooth on Saturday night. And I think getting onto the practice field, you're right. It is kind of a sanctuary where you're away from all the noise and all the hype, and everybody, calling and texting and whatever the case may be. And just, you're right. The key word is a sanctuary, and I'm sure they enjoy the time when they get on that football practice field to get away from it all.
You and I both know that James Franklin is an extremely routine-oriented coach. Game like this, we know it's a big game. The whole world knows it's a big game. How important is that routine for a sense of normalcy heading into a big game?
I think that really is a key. You'll play your best football in a big game like this when you keep everything the same. We did that with Chuck Noll preparing for Super Bowls. We weren't on the practice field for 2 hours and a half, and more is not better. Like I said, this is a veteran football team. They've been around a while. They know what they need to do. They've been in big games before. Went throughout the playoffs last year. I think that will help as well. And everybody realizes it's going to be a big game, but keeping that same schedule, that same routine. You don't have to tell the players this is a big game. Trust me, they know it. They know that, and to keep that same routine, I think that's what coaches love. And James Franklin has been really good at it.
Yeah, finally, I want to ask you about the play of Chaz Coleman to this point. You and I expected Darius Dixon to step in because we watched him in the spring. We thought, you know what, this guy's going to keep going. He's going to play. What have you seen in Chaz Coleman where he's not going to go out and play 50 plays in the game, but in the plays he's out there, it seems like he's usually effective? What have you seen in him?
Well, first of all, the athleticism of Chaz Coleman, it just jumps out at you when you go on the practice field and watch him go through the drills and getting off the mark. He's got that quick twitch coming off that as an edge rusher. And he's also, you forget that he's a freshman, a true freshman. And he's 200, probably close to 250 right now, but so quick off the ball. And he's able to get up the field on an offensive tackle on third and long, second and long situations this week. I mean, he could be a factor in the outside because people will be conscious of Dennis Sutton on the other side. The body of work for him has been shown up in the first three games, so they're going to have to adjust to that. Where Coleman and spot play, you're right. You're not going to play in the entire game, but you spot play him on passing situations where he is so effective and should get that one-on-one blocking because of Dennis Sutton on the other side. So a chip by a tight end or a running back will not be the case for Coleman. He beats the offensive tackle in front of him. He's got a good shot at the quarterback.
Should be a lot of fun. Saturday night, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, starts at we're on at 6 o'clock. At least Roger is. After Roger's intro, we should be on at 6:40? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It's electric there Saturday night, and it's great for the fans. It's great for the football team, and you know what? I'm sure we'll have a lot of recruits there as well. But this is why you go to Penn State to play in games like this.
Yeah, over 100 recruits. How about that? It speaks for itself. This half hour has been brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. Online at sunburymotors.com on News Radio 1070 WKOK.